Welcome to another video on the channel. This is a bit of a different one than I usually make because I'm playing the game whilst talking about a completely different topic, so forgive me if I seem a bit slow. My brain is occupied doing two things at the one time, and I finally understand why Let's Players always complain about how difficult it is to like provide commentary and play the game at the same time. But anyway, I wanted to talk about my current conundrum with Destiny 2 and my YouTube channel, as I think a conundrum is a pretty good term for it. My issue is, whilst I've always uploaded videos because I enjoy making the videos in the first place, at least some of that enjoyment comes from people watching them and me making them with the expectation of some people will watch them. My conundrum is that Destiny 2 is in a really poor state, and it has barely any players nowadays. Granted, I've been able to find Vanguard alert people extremely quick, so that says something at least, but Destiny has the lowest player count it's ever had, and this is the game which launched with the Red War campaign and then had Curse of Osiris directly after it, so that is saying something. And my concern that I find myself thinking about is, should I, or is it worth it to upload videos for a game which is doing extremely poorly? Because people might not watch it because they're playing other games, and do they really care about Destiny anymore? And whilst I still enjoy making Destiny videos, as I say, there's always that sort of concern, because the expectation that some people will watch the video at least does add some enjoyment to it, and if you upload a video and it gets 2 views, it is a flop and you feel bad about it, even if you don't care that much about the views. So that is a conundrum in and of itself. I haven't played Destiny 2 that much recently either. I think I just had a bit of a break, as sometimes happens. So that's part of my conundrum. The other part of my conundrum is there's a lot of speculation going on in the community. What's this Minotaur doing? There's a lot of speculation in the community that Destiny 2 is just gonna silently die after the next update releases, and I don't like that thought. And you I think everyone, even without a YouTube channel, has to think about that and make some sort of a decision about, do you want to invest your time into a game which is just gonna potentially go into maintenance mode after a few months. You know, I have it a bit more extreme because I have a YouTube channel, and there's that extra layer if I actually want people to watch the videos I upload, and making the videos on a dead game doesn't exactly make the most sense. But even if you're just playing the game normally and you don't have anything like that, like a YouTube channel or anything, you still have to think about, should I invest my time in Destiny 2? Or should I invest my time in a different game that maybe I've had in my backlog for a while? Maybe something like Marathon even as well, given that it's a Bungie game and it has similar gunplay to my understanding. So there's a bunch of different factors there. So that's my main thought process that I'm having currently, and yeah, it's a rough one. Of course, we can't have that conversation without also getting into why Destiny's doing so poorly, so I'll bring up a twid from a few weeks ago, which basically says that the Shadow and Order update is delayed until the 9th of June, and that they don't really tell you why. I have my theories as to why that is the case, but they basically say that it's delayed until the 9th of June, and they also mention, I don't know if it's in that wee snippet there, but they say that there won't be much more content coming. The Twids will be more community focused. They have some challenges going on. A lot of the weeks they've got some challenges going on in the portal and stuff, and there will be Guardian games as well, but beyond that there's no new content. There's no seasonal stuff, there's no story stuff. The game is basically on pause for the next couple months basically, and that's not very nice. There's nothing coming to the game. I don't really like Guardian games either, so that's not even tickling me at all, so bit of a predicament there. Then the other thing, of course, is originally we were under the impression that the next expansion should release in summer, and because Shadow and Order is being delayed until summer, we likely won't get the next expansion then. It'll probably be at least a few months after Shadow and Order that we get the next expansion, so that's another thing. On the topic of Destiny 2 sort of dying, I have very conflicted thoughts on it. A lot of the community seems to be in this consensus of, yep, Destiny 2 is going to die in a few months, it's going to go into life support mode, and we can't do anything about it. It's sad that it's coming to an end. We've already basically grieved it, which I think is a very extreme response to this happening, to be honest. Like, I don't know, it sort of feels like you've got an elderly family member having a bit of a rough patch and you've already decided they're in the ground buried. Like, it's a bit odd. But I do somewhat understand it because it doesn't look the most optimistic. But, like, you know, it's the game isn't dead yet. So it does feel a bit preemptive. This is where I'm struggling to think now because I'm doing this by myself. My teammates didn't really come along for the ride. Yeah, let's destroy this jammer. I can hide that thing now. But yeah, I do have concerns that maybe the game will just end up going into life support mode as people predict. But at the same time, they have stuff coming in Shadow and Order. And they have said that they're restructuring it. And I can't help but wonder, like, would they do this if they were just gonna, like, bookshelf the game? Like, I feel like they wouldn't. If they were gonna just divert all resources to Marathon, or start making Destiny 3 and put D2 on life support, would they do this? It could be just a insurance move in case Marathon flops and they have to go back to D2 in order to get money. But I also kind of feel like, I don't know, a part of me feels like they wouldn't do this if they just thought if they even thought there was a possibility of them abandoning the game quite soon. Oh, don't do that. There we go. So I'm a bit conflicted on that. I do think it's been delayed for several reasons. Marathon is the obvious one. They've probably diverted a lot of resources to Marathon in order to make sure it doesn't flop, and so far it seems like it was a good idea, because Marathon seems to be doing alright, from what I can tell. I haven't played the game, but from what I've seen online it seems to be doing pretty good. So I'd say also be a good decision for them. But the other thing is, I would say it maybe would have got delayed anyway, because a lot of their content since the Edge of Fate released has been Portal related, and the community hates the Portal with a passion. The Portal has single-handedly made a lot of people quit the game, and I almost did. They then added the Vanguard Alerts playlist, and that made me come back. But it was rough. So I believe they're probably restructuring Shadow and Order to try to get rid of as much Portal stuff as possible, because if they are going to support the game, the Portal's not the way to do it. So I do think that's part of why they're doing this. It probably also helps the next expansion, because it would at least be somewhat Portal focused, so they now have a chance to rework that a bit. So I do kind of have the feeling that even if Marathon didn't exist, it may have got delayed anyway because of the whole Portal mishap. But I could be wrong. I don't know. That's just my theorizing. So that's my thinking about it. I do hope that Destiny 2 keeps getting support. The game isn't very young anymore, and there is definitely not a small part of me that does think that perhaps long term it would be a good thing for Destiny 2 to go into life support mode and for them to work fully in Destiny 3, because a lot of Destiny 2's, like, a lot of bugs that Destiny's been having are kind of weird, and I feel like it has to do with the age of the game. And I mean, I wouldn't say Destiny 2's graphics are horrendous, but they definitely don't make you think the game was made in 2025 or 2026, you know? It doesn't look like it came out last year. So, that has to be said. And the last point that I sort of have on this is they are still supporting last gen, you know, the PS4 and the Xbox One, and making a Destiny 3 would give them an excuse to drop support for those consoles entirely. Although, having said that, by the time a Destiny 3 would come out, the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles will probably be near the end of their life, and then we'll end up in a similar situation just with the next generation of consoles. So yeah, that's a bit of a thing as well. There is an argument to be had about Destiny 2 maybe should go on life support, or they should dial down, like, work on it to make Destiny 3. But at the same time, Destiny 2 might just get by with an update dedicated to quality of life stuff and restructuring the game. A lot of games do that. I remember distinctly back whenever I used to play Rainbow Six Siege, like years and years and years ago, they had an update which was literally just aimed at fixing bugs and optimizing systems in the game. And Minecraft, of all games, has actually been going through that recently, where the content that they're adding in their updates isn't extreme, but a lot of what they're doing is back-end stuff that's restructuring how the game functions and making it a bit easier to like make mods for and update it and stuff like that. And I think Destiny 2 could really benefit from that, and I think if they don't drop support for it within the next year, and they do continue working on it, I think they kinda do need to do that. Hopefully having a game like Marathon out and generating them revenue as well will incentivize them a bit more to do that, because, you know, whenever I can understand that if you have one game and it's your entire revenue stream, you will be hesitant to shelf it for like 3 to 4 months in order to make it less buggy, because it's good in the long run, but you'll lose revenue in the short term. So I can understand why that would be scary. Hopefully with 2 games it becomes a bit of a easier thing to do. Anyway, at this stage I'm rambling. We are essentially finished the expedition. This was surprisingly difficult to do. But let me know if you enjoyed this format of video. I might have just rambled for ages and I might not have had any cohesive thoughts. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Destiny 2 is going to silently go into life support after this Shadow and Order update, if it's even called that anymore? Or do you think it'll still get like support for many years to come, and this is merely a bit of a lull in its lifespan? Let me know. If you play Marathon as well, let me know how that is, because I haven't even really seen any gameplay. I've just saw that it's doing kind of well. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.